Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining. Almost a full house for this. Lots of familiar faces and lots of faces I don't know, which is great. It's what we want. One of the final sessions of the 2025 Nighttime Economy Summit. So I've got a lovely panel for you guys today. And actually, this is my comfort zone. So I'm kind of, there's no planning for this. We're just going to talk. Okay, no structure other than a few pointers here and there. Essentially, when I was programming this panel, I wanted to make sure that promoters had a voice in the mix. People that are having to, through organically or by design, change up how they're doing things in order to respond to audience and market needs, venue needs, industry needs. And we've heard a lot about venues, we've heard a lot about the supply chain. Promoters, obviously, the guys that are taking the risk, putting a lot of work in to make the events happen. The connect, the link between artists, producers, DJs, performers, and venues and festivals, organisations. Just a quick show of hands, who's a promoter in the room? Who works for a venue? Musicians or creators, DJs? Wow, it's a lot of crossover. That's what happens with portfolio working. So you just got to do everything all at once these days. Okay, so I'm just going to ask the panel to introduce themselves one by one. Start with you, Leah.
Hi.
Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Leah. Thank you for coming. I am the assistant booker for Amber's in Manchester, and I am event coordinator, promoter at La Discothèque, which is a UK-wide disco brand, and I also run 3 smaller independent brands, The Little Disco, Bombard Groove and Club Impulse.
Thank you very much, Leah. Thanks for being here. Emma.
Hey, I'm Emma. I work as Site Permissions Officer for Bristol City Council, so we organise all the festivals and events across the city. I also run The Beat Goes On, which is an independent micro festival for 500 people. It's an annual event and we launched in 2020 and have done 4 events to date. I also run We Are Acid, which is an acid-based club night in Bristol at Basement 45. We run 4 a year, probably. But yeah, that's me.
Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack Brabant. One of the co-founders of Digbeth Dining Club and Hockley Social Club, which you're in today. We also run other venues as well in the city. We also run street food festivals and comedy festivals across the Midlands. We do up to about 60 to 80 every year. So we do various things, and we obviously with what we do here in Hockley, this is very much a space where we bring food, culture, music, comedy all together. You can see all kinds of things like Birmingham Royal Ballet, the St Yorkshire, along with grime artists and people like Wookie all the time. So it's a real mishmash of what we try to do, and we really try to showcase what's always best about the Midlands.
Top waffling.
You're on form today.
I'm just not going to follow that. My name's Adam Regan. I have been promoting Club Night, or a brand if you like, I don't like that word, but something called Leftfoot for 25 years. What? Shabba.
I might have to split you two up.
Yeah, and I've been running the Hare Hounds in King's Heath for 18 years. I've been a DJ for, I don't know, too long, 30 years or something. Yeah, that's me.
Underplaying your hand there, I think.
Yeah, I'll keep a few things.
Okay, for the rest of the chat. Yeah, okay. God, this feels like a chat show. It's mad. I wanted this vibe though. One of the things about the business that we're all in, it's a relationship business. It's, you've got to be able to cut through. There's no corporate BS here. We're just talking about what we do and what we love. Just a little bit about me. I can't remember if I introduced myself at the start. My name's Lyle, Bignon, Nighttime Economy Ambassador for Birmingham. I have dabbled in promotion in the past, and I do these days. I'm a big fan of kind of cultural commissioning and programming and curating stuff strategically. That does sound like corporate BS, actually, doesn't it? Booking stuff that fits. and trying to grow audiences and do things differently. So outside of the NTIA ambassador work, I work with Jack and Hockley Social Club. I've worked with Adam in the past. I do some work with Moseley Folk and Arts Festival, mostly jazz, funk and soul, Norton's Digbeth, where the after party was last night. And I think part of it is it's important for me to keep pushing people to raise the bar. It's very easy for anyone in the room who's a promoter to take that easy booking or to repeat something that you've done previously. But as we know from audience trends and the cost of promoting, that doesn't always work. So we're going to be exploring some of those themes today. But essentially creating moments, I think that's one thing that we all share in common, is creating that buzz. Nothing like it when people leave a venue or a room after something that you've worked hard on, a bit like the summit, and people are just vibing off it. You know, it's one of the best feelings in the world. I'm going to start, Emma. I'm really intrigued with your model, particularly the term micro festival. And I just want to ask you to talk us through a little bit about your thinking and your planning around that. Why have you capped it at a certain number? Are there other considerations, Bristol-related considerations, as to why you settled on that model, etc.?
I mean, it's grown organically. I've been very lucky. I've been surrounded by industry for years and years. My husband's a DJ, so, we've got a lot of connections all across the country. And for me, it was about bringing people together collectively post-COVID. So we launched it post-COVID. It started off as 150 people, and we've just grown organically to 500 people now. The cost of living crisis is huge. For us to upscale is huge. So for me, it makes sense at the moment to keep it small. I also had a massive health implication the other year. I don't know whether or not Matt might have told you, but I got diagnosed with a brain tumour in February 2023. We were going into our next event in May 2023. Everybody said cancel, and I was like, no, fuck no. We're doing this. So we did, and it was brilliant. It's probably one of the best things I've done today. I had an operation in August that year. Fred fucked off. I named him Fred the tumour. He fucked off, and he's not coming back. And it's not cancer, and it's great.
I'm going to give you a little.
Thank you.
Fuck off, Fred.
Fuck off, Fred, and he did. The illegal squatter's gone. So that's it's a pretty bad ride, really.
Did that experience, the health experience, drive you
even more to be successful? Yeah. Probably, I must be mad, but we then changed venues, so we're at a new venue this year, so even another reason why I wanted to keep it at small. Mm-hmm. What I want is to produce a show that's of quality. I used to work for Boomtown, so my background is huge production. I want to produce something that's of quality that people want to come to, but that's on a small scale.
Because so you would never want to scale up from your...
Not huge.
Okay. A couple of hundred maybe, but...
Under 5,000.
Oh, okay.
That's my max. I want to be the best at being small. Okay. I think there's a market for a festival that can produce quality, but can produce it on a small scale. Not everybody wants to go to a huge festival, but there's no reason why you can't produce something that's of quality, that's offering that, but on a smaller scale.
I'm going to come back to you on questions around like your risk margins and obviously, we're not going to talk financials today, guys. Not too many details anyway. But what I want to try and get to the nub of as part of this conversation as well is you're all doing things slightly differently, either as a result of changes or you've just chosen to go in that direction, and what kind of the risk levels are and how you weighed it up. So, Adam, just tell us a little bit about... I've forgotten the question that I asked Emma. Sorry. Hare and Hounds has traditionally been wholeheartedly music focused from as long as I can remember, even before you took it over, arguably.
Yeah, it had been in the sort of 80s and 90s, and I think it had tailed off and become of Weatherspoons, essentially. Didn't do a lot of music gigs. Still had carpet in the venue, that kind of vibe. But when we took it on, it was a lot of people were doubting whether we could make it work. 4 miles outside of the city centre, Kings Heath wasn't the kind of vibrant place it is now. It was still quite a rough place. I mean, it is still a bit rough around the edges now, but I mean, it's certainly was different 18 years ago.
You've got a deli next to you now, mate. It's
Yeah, we do natural wine on the street, and that's always a giveaway, isn't it? So it was a bit of a gamble, but I had a place in Moseley, the Bull's Head, and that had been going well. And then some guys that I'd worked with, Nick and Tat from Big Cat, they said that the Hare and Hounds was on the market. Would I be interested in putting a bid in? And we got a business plan together, and I think we were up against another music promoter and a Chinese eat as much as you like buffet. So I'm glad one of us.
Could have all been so different.
Could have been different. I mean, there isn't a good Chinese in Kings Heath actually, so maybe I got that wrong.
The plough out.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a bit of a. I mean, as I said, I'd been a promoter for not a long time before then, but at least sort of 8 years before then, and everything was going through a bit of a change, I suppose. We'd had the golden years at the Medicine Bar, where from 95 to 2005 I was kind of based there, and became a club in 2000. And from 2005 onwards, it was a bit harder and things got a bit tougher. So it was a bit of a gamble taking on the Hare, but I think we lost a lot of money in the first year, and then completely by chance I double booked the main room. This is when we only had one room, and it was for Lisa from Capsule, who was a friend of mine, and she said, why don't you use that room that you've got all the Guinness hats in and junk? And it was literally just an old billiards room that was full of junk. We cleared it out, and Warren from Urban Audio put a sound system in, and Lisa did the show, and it was great. And then from that point, when we had 2 venues, it started to make money, and we could start putting on 50, 60, 70 people, and it still felt okay. So it became that kind of venue where you could have bands from the start coming through, because 250 is a bit big for the new bands. And ever since then it's just grown. We've invested more money, we've spent a lot of money on production, probably too much, in terms of sound systems, but that's...
I mean, it's got one of the best, it's got the reputation for one of the best sounds from an engineering and a fan point of view.
Yeah, it does sound great, and I wanted that, I wouldn't want to kind of have a venue that didn't sound like that. But yeah, we've built up to this day now where we've got a great team. We've just started food. The Plough in Harborne came to start doing food with us, and they've kind of taken on more of the operations of the whole building, really, in terms of the bars and the food. So that's freed up me and Matt to do more of the promotion, which is what we love, really.
Can we just? Was there a point, do you think, in the last couple of years, COVID related or not, where you realised you might have to change the way that you program? Was there one particular moment?
Well, during COVID, we thought that was it. I was thinking, what the hell am I going to do? I'm not really good at anything else. I don't know what I'm going to do. But then we got some funding, and obviously realised we could survive it and last it out until we could start having no distance. Everyone was opening up with distance gigs, and it was just lose. It was a quick way to lose money. So we stuck it out. I think we were shut for 16 months in the end, which was quite good for my mental health. I did a lot of walking in the park.
I remember seeing you on the walks.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was great. Yeah, God bless those days. But yeah, we had to sort of think about how we did stuff. I mean, the whole generation of people that were turning 17, 18, 19 during that lockdown didn't get to experience clubs and festivals. And my kids, they were perfect examples of that. They would have gone out and done all that summer, and they didn't get to do it. So we kind of missed when we opened again. We found out like the older club shows were the only ones that were really working, like when people were a bit older. And I still think that's a struggle. I still think you're not going to get many 18 to 25-year-olds going out. I don't know whether anyone else notices that, but
I'm definitely seeing it in other venues across the city.
And they also don't drink, which not all of them, obviously. I mean, my son definitely likes to drink, but a lot of the 18 to 25-year-olds don't drink, and so if you're putting on a club night and you're relying on the bar to make you a profit, then you're seeing considerably less bar spend.
Can I ask what the first kind of art form or non-music offer was that you looked at when you realised that something had to take its place?
What do you mean? Sorry.
In terms of, because you've introduced comedy,
Right, yeah. We started doing comedy. We started doing film nights. We started doing those really weird murder talks. Like when people talk about serial killers. We did a few of those. That was really bizarre, but they were really popular.
Yeah,
they sold out.
True crime.
Yeah, that
fans,
kind of thing. Yeah, bit Louis Theroux, bit and then comedy worked. But I think the thing for us is that we noticed people didn't want to go out till 3 o'clock in the morning anymore. So we tried a Sunday afternoon club show, which started at 4 and finished at 9. And Giles Peterson's someone I've known for years, and he obviously did Dingwalls on a Sunday afternoon, so we got him down. It sold out really quickly, and that's been the thing that's really helped us.
I was just going to say, your relationship with DJs like Andrew Weatherall, with Giles and Norman J, etc. Those are the kind of heritage is probably not the right word, but the
foundational kind of artists.
Thank you, that's a better word.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'm sure most promoters of venues in the audience will agree with is unless you are the only music venue for 50, 75 miles around, you're going to have had to have adapted in some way and offer something else, whether it's bottomless brunches, whether it's quizzes, whether it's another income stream and another way to capture new data and new audiences. Leah, talk us through your model, because at Amber's you're trying something different, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody has heard of Amber's. It's just opened in Manchester. It's really exciting. The directors have all come from other large projects. I just really love music, love sound, want everything to be of the highest quality and really care about the customer experience. And what we've obviously found over the last 2 years, I'm sure everyone promoter venue can agree, it's been really, really hard. It's been really hard to even break even, never mind make money. And I know we don't go into this to try and make money, but it's always nice to not lose money, So with Amber's, we wanted to create this sort of circle of working together where the venue, promoter and agent all work in unison and help each other, and that is to create club nights that are accessible for the customer. So we do £5 tickets and unannounced lineups, and the artists can play for as long as they want, and they can play for whatever kind of set they want to play. There's no expectation there, and it kind of has created something really beautiful that our customer base seems to be absolutely gagging for. The response has been amazing, and it's a completely no phones club as well, so it's all about that being in the moment and experiencing it when you're there. We release really small aspects of the venue, and we're really respective of the customers' faces, and you have to be there to experience it kind of moment. And I think through this kind of technology age, I didn't even realise until we'd put this business model in place that it was something that people were craving for so much. And it really has given me a new kind of fight for the industry, because it's taken it back to its roots. We're talking about how club culture is evolving. It's what we've spoken about so much over this weekend. And I think it's evolving by going back to its roots, where it used to be about that. Actually, it's about the music, it's about dancing. It's so important for human connection, and that's really what we're trying to create there.
Okay, a couple of questions. Phenomenal work, because that's a hell of
I wish I could say it was just me. It's not.
There's
just
a hell of a risk to take, but obviously you get to trial it. Did you do any research? Did you ask? Did you do focus groups or anything like that?
Or what we do since opening in December, what we've done on countless times is ask our customers what they want. Always, what kind of music do you want next? We've done the house and techno. What now do you want? How is our sound? We've been adapting the sound since we've opened. It's so about the customer experience. That's at the heart of the venue's ethos. That is so, yeah.
And how many events have you held there now using this model?
So beginning of December and 2 a weekend. How many is that?
Shit, with 2 a weekend, so Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
And how long did it take them to take off? Or was it from the get-go?
From the get-go.
No.
There was a lot of, there's a lot of really clever marketing behind it, and the directors our two directors, Jeremy Lawrence does all the design, Jeremy does all the marketing, used to work for Mixmag, and
That helps.
Yeah, that definitely helped. And I always say it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
But it's a people business.
And I think they created this hype before it even opened, before there was even anyone booked, and it sold out then and there.
I'd like to come back to you on sustainability, because I think what we're all struggling with is ultimately finding a long-term sustainable model, or a number of them that you can switch around and play with, which leads me to ask you, Jack, just to talk a little bit about your approach to booking and promoting here.
I mean, certainly here, which is with the venue that we've created here, is what we've tried to encompass various different things. Thank you. Thanks, Adam. What would I do without you? So we basically, like with Hockley, before we came in here, we ran Digbeth Dining Club, which was based in Digbeth, which is the area of the city, if you don't know that. And it's really successful. We had 8,000 people turning up every weekend to come and enjoy street food, some of the music we put on, which was mainly just DJs. And we took this place on just prior to COVID to do some events. And luckily we took it on because, unfortunately, due to COVID, we had to move out of Digbeth because we were the promoters there, and with restrictions with the 2-metre rule, etc., meant that we couldn't operate how we used to operate. So we decided to completely start again after almost 10 years of doing what we did, and the whole focus on this was to create something which was not just about the food. It was basically to become a destination venue where you could spend a whole day here and various guises and be something that was open to everyone. And the important thing that we realised is that we had to diversify as much as possible, which took a long time to come to. And we've certainly done that in the last 18 months, is make sure that what we're offering people here is an experience where you can see things that you don't usually see. I've already touched on the fact we've got the likes of Birmingham Ballet. You can come here and have a cheap night out and understand ballet. For a lot of people, they've never been to a show, for example. And the chance to come to somewhere which is a little bit off the beaten track and see something really beautiful is really entertaining. But then, we'll put a grime night on 2 days later. So we're really trying to cater for everything that's out there. And I think that's a really important thing right now. With the cost of living crisis going on, it's not just having the expectation that people will come. And I think that's some of the mistakes that we're seeing with a lot of businesses in the NTIA is they haven't adapted to the fact that audiences have changed. They haven't been going out. They're a younger audience that don't drink. They haven't been going out. So what entertains them? So you've talked about some of the serial killer stuff. We're doing some of that stuff. We do events where we celebrate the best that Birmingham's had. Some people they never talk. So we've had, for example, I don't know if any of you listen to the News Agents, which is a podcast through LBC. We've had Lewis Goodall come and talk, and he's a lad that came from the south of the city. We've got Trevor Beattie, who's another Brummie, who worked on the FC UK advertising campaign, which was...
And Wonderbra.
The Wonderbra one, yes, that was it with, I can't remember the name, with a supermodel.
Move on.
So, moving on. But it just goes back to the whole thing. It's learning about what your audiences want and changing everything as much as possible, because it's tough. Every week we're looking at our finances and going fuck, this is really difficult. Have we had a good week? Have we had a bad week? And we're still struggling. I mean, to run this place here, it feels like 24 hours. I have sleepless nights constantly and drive my wife up the wall, because it's all I can think about really to make it work. But it's really important, I feel like to diversify, and I think that has been our key message, to get out there and do that.
You've got the benefit here of having multiple spaces. As people that have spent time over the summit, hopefully you've seen all of the Artem space, the terrace space, so you benefit from that experience. The day, spending a whole day here, you could theoretically program 3 different things in, and somebody could make their way around them and have lunch and have dinner.
Well, that was the original concept when we came in here, is that we wanted it to be a destination where you could spend all day and be entertained. Originally, Artem, which is which stage? It's stage 4.
Stage 4, yeah.
Stage 4. So that was originally like a listening bar with record shop, but we realised quickly that we weren't getting people in, so we ripped it all out, put a new bar in, and turned it into a small boutique clubbing space, and that has actually worked better. We've got more Fire Crew, for example, coming up, and Todd Edwards and people like that. And again, it goes back to the whole thing, like, you know, especially in there, we're targeting the older generation, like we want the occasional night out. So, you know, especially like all the old garage heads, you know, we're getting in like Todd Edwards and Wookie. Wookie comes and plays quarterly for us because he now lives in Birmingham, which is great. So it's understanding, again, going back to the audiences and going, well, what do people want? And the great thing about Birmingham is, and it's something that I've always loved, is it's such a diverse demographic of people. You've got a whole audience there that to appeal to, and if you really tap into that and understand where your city is, what people want, you've got you've got a chance to do completely.
That's a very good point, actually, because the cities that we all work in, Manchester, Bristol and Birmingham, are very diverse, so it makes sense to reflect and represent your city. I was talking to some through your programme, and I was talking to a councillor last night. You know, we don't talk enough about dessert shops, late night parlours, the no or zero alcohol offering in the city, and there's a huge part of our population here who engage with that. So it's about opening your mind, being aware of stuff. And I think we all know the old school promoters who probably haven't adapted or aren't as fleet of foot as these guys, or maybe saw the warning signs, or maybe had to pivot. And as Jack says, I think through circumstance and sometimes serendipity, you've all arrived at the point where you're at now. Quite clearly, nothing's fixed or set in stone. This is a very volatile market, climate, consumer interests. I'm going to ask each of you about future-proofing. So what are you doing at the moment in terms of your promoting, booking and curating to kind of with a long-term view? Emma, I'll start with you.
Mixture of things. We're engaging audience constantly. It's a year-round journey, and that's not just about shouting about tickets. That's about promoting the people that are part of the festival, promoting the artists that are joining us. We're engaging emerging talent, so we're putting shouts out to people who've never been on a festival stage before, and doing openings for people that have never had that chance or never had that booking, which has been really popular. And the team, I think the team are going to kill me if I put another shout out, because we get so many people apply. But it's great because it's great on social media, and it gets a real buzz about it. And also it's good because you need those people coming through. You know, how do you ever give people a chance? You know. I don't know. I mean, it might not be that there is an answer to this, and that some of you prefer to work on a shorter lead time to give yourself a bit of agility if shit goes in another direction. I mean, you know, for me, certainly when we were coming into 22 to 23, introducing payment plans was a saviour. For me, running a festival, making it as affordable as possible for people, that's what got me across the line. You know, without that, I don't think we would have survived.
Okay.
And again, coming in for this year, I'm doing the maths and I'm working out how much my ticket's going to go up, and it's a lot more than what it was 2 years ago.
Because of production costs.
Yeah, because we had a year hiatus because I wasn't well, and I'm looking at it, and we were meant to go live 1st of September, and I'm like, people aren't going to be able to afford the money. So I absolutely broke my neck and brought it forward 3 months, and you know. My husband will tell you, I think he nearly sent me mad, because it's like I just didn't stop, because he's like, you know, it'd be fine, and I'm like, no, we need to bring it forward, or else I don't stand a chance of selling these tickets, because it's going to be too expensive for people. We need to give it every chance, so they need it over 10 months rather than over 7, and it makes a big difference. And we sold nearly 50% of our tickets in those first 2 months.
Right, okay.
Which, you know, it just goes to show that I made the right decision. And ticket sales have fallen off. And I'm hoping that in February, like after Christmas, it's all going to pick up again, which I think it will. You know, we've got a good buzz about us, and, you know, there's people talking about it, and people are noticing. So, you know, fingers crossed.
Adam, future-proofing, or do you prefer to have a shorter kind of...
It's really difficult. I think most of us in the industry are really worried about this budget and post-April, what it's going to mean. For us personally, there's things that we fully support, like the increase in national wage. That's something that we would always get behind. National insurance was a bit of a blow, I must admit, for us.
And along with the business rates,
the business rates, I think that's going to put about 25 grand on our, on our costs for the year. So you have to look at the cost. It's already expensive to go out. It's not cheap. Tickets have gone up, beer's gone up, everything's gone up.
1p off the pint. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Treasury.
I mean, I think for us now, we've noticed that there's certain things that will just, regardless of what the price is, they will. So you put Sasha on or EZ or something like that, 25 quid, people don't bat an eyelid, they just buy a ticket. But you can't just put on people like that all the time. You have to have emerging talent. You have to work with new promoters. You have to work with young promoters that haven't got the same budgetary kind of flexibility that we've got at the Hare. And it's really important to keep bringing new stuff through. So that's really challenging. I mean, there's a lot of people in this room that I work with, from promoters and other venues that we work at, and I think we're all sort of trying to help each other out and make sure that there's a future, really, because it can't just be. The last thing I want is everything to shut down apart from 3 or 4 venues, and there'd be the same 3 or 4 promoters doing the promoting in the city. That's not what makes a city successful.
And that we've come close in the past in Brum to that happening.
Yeah.
We've also had the opposite, where it's been really diverse. But just something that's occurred to me is both Jack and Adam are venue promoters. So you've got your own infrastructure, you know what you're working with, whereas you'll work across multiple venues.
Yeah, a bit of both, really.
Okay.
Bit of everything.
Yeah, because obviously there are promoters in here that will work for themselves and work across multiple venues, and there's
it's a bit of a thankless task for. I mean, full respect for anyone that is promoting at the moment, because it is, without a doubt, the hardest climate it's ever been in my 30 years or however in the industry. It is. You've got agents and DJs and managers trying to push the prices up, and you've got promoters that do it for the love and for the passion and because they want to put on good parties and DJ with people that they respect, and they're losing money, and there's not even a slight bit of guilt from these DJs. But there are some DJs that do care, but most don't, and that is really, really hard. So you'll build up a relationship with a promoter, and you respect what they're doing. They'll come and spend hours setting up the room, and they really care about how it looks, how it feels, get the lighting right, the promotion's great, and then you get a DJ that walks away with 1,500 quid, 2 grand, 2.5 grand, and the promoter loses £1 grand. How is that a sustainable model? So we try and be mindful of the fact that we are promoters, we're at a venue. We can afford to lose money on shows, but we understand why people can't. So we've started to do more partnerships with people. We'll do things where we will kind of do the chasing, if you like, making sure that we've got that relationship that we've got with an agent is not exploited, but we use our kind of bargaining.
Let's be honest, it would happen the other way around as well.
Yeah, but it just feels like we've got it feels like it's turning into a kind of positive again for clubs after COVID. It's starting to feel like we've got some great nights, we've got some great promoters, we've got some great DJs coming to the city, and now we've got to deal with post-April budget and how that's going to affect. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
This isn't relevant for you, Adam, but perhaps I chaired a panel on funding opportunities earlier, and those of you that are relatively newer to promoting might want to look up the PRS Foundation's Early Career Promoter Fund, which pays for your own professional development. It can also pay for you to deliver events, but it's definitely something worth looking at. And those of you who are also musicians can look at Arts Council and help musicians as well. So I think what's also important, and something that we're missing from the narrative, is where are the new venue operators, owners, entrepreneurs, where are the new promoters coming in? How are they coming in? If the picture that we're spelling out is really that challenging and difficult, there's absolutely zero incentive for anybody coming in. I just wanted to mention those plugs. Leah, just in terms of future-proofing, are you working on a shorter lead model?
I think I'm not going to pretend like I have the answer to this question, because I absolutely don't. There's no rule book to any of this. Like, I think you just try things, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and you can have the most strategical marketing plan in the world and follow every kind of tunnel method of ads management that there is, and it can still not sell. It's like being a promoter and a venue promoter. It's like playing a game of chess. You have to get the right date, the right artist that's not played in the city in too close a proximity, but still enough proximity that it's relevant, and they're not too big that it's going to be too expensive, and you've got to do the ticket price just enough. Like it's a whole, there's so many variables to why an event, I don't want to say fail, because I don't think that you should measure the success of an event by how much money you've made. You should be in it for the right reasons, and that's because you love it and it's a passion. But you need the money to carry on. But I think future proofing is about working together. There's a lot of not jealousy. There's a lot of promoters that feel that they need to compete with each other, and that's not how it needs to be. There's enough space in this world for all of us. And how we look into 2025 is working together, supporting each other, helping each other out. Venues helping promoters, doing co-pros and or brand fees, or challenging agents on their artist fees, explaining why you're doing the event, why you want to keep the ticket price low, and just being completely authentic in everything that you produce. That's it, really.
I think that message of like unity and collaboration is always key, and a lot of the stuff that came out of COVID, there was that mad magical moment where we all felt like we were one industry, and it was us against Johnson and the rest of them, but they felt like the unity was there, and what came out of that was perhaps more co-pros, more collabs, more a greater open-mindedness maybe for working with people.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like there was obviously a period. Pre-COVID wasn't so straightforward being a promoter. There were still many challenges, but I don't think any of us expected what was to come, and that was for the whole industry to close down and have to go into all of these different areas of work that we had no idea what we were doing. I did marketing for a coffee shop. Like I'm a electronic music promoter. But we fought through it, and we came out the other side, and we're still fighting even with all these things that are being thrown at us.
Just a different enemy now.
Yeah, now it's operational costs and blah, all of these other things. But I think if we've got this far, we can get through out the other side and be bigger and better than we were before, and we are doing that. I mean, everybody knows, everybody's been through it. But like, it's not black and white.
Yeah.
There's no way I can.
And also, what model applies for you, or what for somebody else is just
exactly
independent
that.
merit. Jack, just give us an overview of kind of how you're seeing.
I think what's been said by all three just now is so absolutely valid, and I think we're all thinking along the same lines. I mean, so I could repeat all that. But I think it goes back to what I said originally. Diversification it's been absolutely key, I think, for future-proofing. It's been willing to look at various things to try and get something going, and again, looking at your audience. And to be fair, I've spent the afternoon boring Adam off with Adam from the Plough, and we've been talking data. There's so much information out there nowadays. Obviously with social media, you can get insights into your audience. We really implemented in the last 2 years everything about our business, so we understand the data, how much we're selling. We sit down and we pour over all this information, and we can make calculated decisions on various things. I mean, obviously, it goes back, there are artists that we book, for example, and you go like, why the fuck hasn't that sold? Like, it's a fucking brilliant artist. It's like, but then you look like someone else has booked it around the corner or something like that. It's one of those things. That's the variables that you can look at. But I just feel like having the information in front of you, it's so key, and it's helped us immeasurably over the last 2 years. Just being able to go like, right, well, this is what we're going to do. This is how much we do. This is what we're trying to achieve. I mean, obviously, there's so much conversation about social media going on nowadays, obviously with the likes of Elon Musk and the others being absolute fucking arseholes. But the tools it gives you... This is
definitely the sweariest panel by far, by the way, at the summit.
Yeah, it's just, unfortunately, the vocabulary just kicking in, unfortunately. But it's just, like, those tools there are brilliant, and, it's there to be used, and it's your friend when it comes to future-proofing, I feel.
Unless you're Rockefeller, the days of promoting on instinct and you know you've got deep pockets. The days of thinking I'll take a punt on that.
Just on that as well, though. But going back to the old school style, is just talking to people. Finding out what they want. Getting out there, talking to your audience. Like, I think again, this is. I'm going to completely just go full 180 and go fucking social media. But get out there and talk to people. Like, and it works because people still like having something put into their hand as well. So you've got to use all the tools there, really. And I think that's something that goes.
Yeah, it's one of the.
We did a customer survey actually, and we did QR codes at the festival that people could go in and give us feedback of what they wanted and what they didn't want, and that really helped us understand our customer and understand maybe what we needed was another stage.
I think a benefit is for promoters and venues out there is that there are so many free metrics, analytics tool. I mean, I was thinking about getting ChatGPT to do this panel for me, but you are basically tools are out there to enable you to understand your audience a lot more. We've got to have to wrap up shortly. I want to just ask you guys, in the spirit of this kind of notion of community and collaboration, is just to ask you to list one or two venues, promoters, festivals that you think are doing amazing things, like in innovating in live. We'll go from you, Leah, down to Adam.
I think if it's okay for me to say Hare and Hound. Golden Lion and Todd, I don't know if anybody knows. Festival-wise, I mean, there's so many independent festivals that have not come through this last couple of years. Like I've worked for a few, and it's such a shame that the remaining festivals are kind of the bigger funded ones. I can't really think off the top of my head.
I'm going to put my neck on the line with this one. I'm going to say watch this space, because I was at the AF yesterday and Chai Wallers are launching a new festival which is all about grassroots.
Yes, they've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, they're going to be doing that, and that launches next year, and I think that's going to be quite exciting. And that's a collaboration between lots of little independent festivals. They've got Secret Garden Party venue there. So yeah, I think that's going to be a one to watch. So
they've been Chai Wallers have been out consulting with the industry for at least 6 months, maybe 9 months on that, which again, it's great if you've got a lead time to plan on that kind of stuff, but we're all in the long game here, more or less. Jack?
I mean, from a Birmingham perspective, I think there's several different ones. I mean, obviously Leftfoot, we've been. I'm going to be nice to Adam now, but Leftfoot has been the big thing, part of my life for 25 years.
Are you booking your double act show, you two?
How much is he paying you?
I don't know. No.
Hold on, he was trying to sell us on three old men talking about data a minute ago. That's not that's about as sexy as it gets.
Well, there's some seriousness. But Leftfoot's been doing some great things. Mosey Jazz, it's an institution now in the city, and it's something that we all love in the south of Birmingham, especially.
And working for them, I know that they have to do things differently.
Exactly. So. And I'm good friends with John, who's one of the booker, and I know what he goes for every year because he's phoning me going like, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this?" And then I went to Junction 2 last year, and I thought that was a really brilliant, well put together festival, small, cost effective, and a really great lineup. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to go again this year. And I mean, just for longevity, and I just absolutely love this House of God. Just like absolutely, if you know House of God, absolutely understated. It doesn't announce any lineups. We had Jeff Mills turn up at the 30th anniversary. It's brilliant, isn't it? So if you've been
Birmingham institution, Adam, who do you look to for innovations
in the city? Well, we do it
nationally, internationally, anywhere.
I think out of Birmingham, we always look to Manchester. Is a place that is always innovating.
You're gonna pay a compliment back to Amber's now.
Well, no, I mean, my son's just sent you a mixtape. Actually, he wants to get a gig, so we've definitely got a chat there after. Because he said if I didn't tell you that, he was going to be really upset. So Manchester's always just had it, hasn't it? We know the guys that run Now Wave, and they've got Yes, and they program at other venues. And I think Manchester's, for me, the music capital of of the UK. Sorry, London. I know London's great, but
Don't mind sorry, London. What about sorry, Birmingham?
Yeah,
about
come
Bristol?
on, man. But Bristol's great. Bristol. I was
Why
going
have
to
you
say.
waited until the end of the panel?
No,
to
no,
throw
I'm
that
not
in?
bringing. I'm not slagging off Brum. I'm just saying Manchester is. We all look to Manchester because it is very innovative. Bristol as well. Leeds. There's a lot of good cities. Birmingham is on the up without a doubt, but it has been challenging. Let's not sit here and pretend it hasn't been challenging.
Oh yeah.
Because it is. But we work with. For us to go and put a gig on in another venue is quite difficult in this city because there aren't many that we feel really comfortable in. The Crossing we do a lot of gigs at, Castle and Falcon we do a lot of gigs at, and we know that they've got the same standards. So, and they're also sitting over there, so I'm going to have to say that to them both. But they know that anyway because we put a lot of gigs on. And I think there's a lot of good promoters sitting in here as well that I know, people that I work with, Variations, Love Affair, Some Seller. There's a lot of people that I know that are doing good things in the city, and fair play to them because it is a thankless task. So
I'm just going to shout out Tony and Variations because Tony's model is very much along the lines, it's very similar to how you've described Amber's in terms of it's quite an open music policy. Is that right? Okay. New music, yeah, with multiple collaborations with different promoters. I mean, there are, and I'm sure amongst the audience here, you guys have got some absolutely sick ideas or models that are already underway.
If I can also just mention, it's like a festival, Homo Block in Manchester, just for platforming queer and independent artists, performers, dancers. They're doing amazing things. So if you've not been, you should come to this year's.
Thank you very much. I would just take the time, all the promoters in the room, get to know each other if you don't already. Just turn to each other and introduce yourselves. There's no moments like more perfect than this to find a collaborative partner. We're a bit over time, guys, so I'm going to need to wrap it up there. Are you all around to meet and chat to people?
If
yeah?
anyone wants to chat data, then we are ready.
Folks, please show your appreciation with a round of applause for Leah Padgett, Emma Cree, Jack Brabant and Adam Regan. Thank you so much.